Good people, good people, good people. Welcome back to the Gumtown Podcast, episode 158. I'm Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving it a shot. Today's guest is the founder and owner of Surreal Glow, Skin, and Beauty. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we'll all be inspired by her story. Let's chop it up with Brittany Williams. Brittany, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. How are you?
Glad to hear that, and all is well on my end too. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me. I really appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, here to talk about all the great things you have going on with Surreal Glow Skin and Beauty. Before we talk business, let's
hmm
get to know the woman behind the brand. Born and raised in Troy, Alabama. What was your upbringing like?
My upbringing was super fun. I was raised in a two-parent household. It was me and my brother, and it was, I don't know, it was just amazing. I had a great childhood up. I lost my brother later on, but I had a really good
Okay,
child.
sounds good. Two-parent household and your brother,
hmm
and my condolences to the loss of your brother. And sounds like overall
Thank
growing up
you.
in Troy, yes, ma'am. Sounds like growing up in Troy, you had a great village around you.
I did. I mean, we are a very close knit family. Yeah, it was a very like our family was super close. I would say that I can remember growing up. It was like how you say like it takes a village. I mean, everyone was there. You know, a lot of my family contributed to my upbringing. My grandmother, both my grandmothers. Yeah, my childhood. I remember it being just really fun, just really close knit family.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And to your point, it definitely takes a village. Sounds like you had that great village, both
hmm
grandmoms, both parents, and oh, that's good stuff. And it takes a village on all levels in life when we're children as well as when we're adults.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So after you finish up high school in Troy, did you do college, military, or did you go right to work?
So I had a bridge scholarship to go. I don't know if you know a program called Upward Bound, but I was in there from ninth to 12th grade, and so I went straight to college right after high school. I had that summer semester, and then I did a fall semester at Troy, and I moved to Georgia. I moved there with some friends, and you know how we have that kind of rebellion stage. I think I did my rebellion stage later. Like I wanted to break away, and just do something different. And I went to Georgia, and from there I joined the military. I was in the Navy for about 6 years, well, 4 years active, and then I did two inactive. So
Okay.
I kind of just took off from, after I graduated, I did that year, and then I went off to military.
Okay. So that year that you did spend at Troy University, what was that college life experience
hmm
like for you?
Man, what? College was fun. It was fun because, I mean, I did that year with the people like that I had grew up with that were in the bridge program with me. So that first year, that first semester out of high school into college, but I don't know, it kind of gave me that a taste of how it is like away from home. Like, but I was still home. I still lived in Troy, but I was in the dorms, of course, and that was cool. Like, it just gave me a taste of how the world is like, not so like, I guess not hovering parents, but not with the parents. So college was a little taste, and then I felt like, hey, I can go to another state.
Mm.
Like I don't have to be here. We thought Atlanta was everything back then, so moving to Georgia was my next move. So, but college was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good. Yes, it's nothing like that. College life experience, getting a chance to meet people from all over, people from the South,
Mhm.
the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and sounds like you had that 1 year of college, and to your point, you decided to move to the A to flap your wings.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
Okay, it's all good.
I mean,
Hey,
literally, because I took off from there. Like, I literally moved there and then just like went away. Like, so I basically was gone from that year. After that year, that first year, I was gone. In Troy. Like after that, I was gone that whole time.
right. No, it's all good. Hey, everybody's journey is different. You did what you had to do. You felt
Mhm.
like, hey, it's time for me to get away from little Troy, Alabama. It's time for me to go see the world. And that's what you did. That's what it's all about.
I
Making moves.
did. Mhm.
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am. So moved to Atlanta and you later joined the Navy. I want to thank you for your service in the military.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So what was that overall? What was that experience like being in the military?
I was homesick. I didn't really know what I was getting in myself into. I just knew my dad. Well, I'll say this: my dad he was Army. He's retired Army, but I kind of grew up in the military home too as well. I left that out, but that kind of sparked my interest into the military, and I initially wanted to go to, but my daddy told me either Air Force or Navy, and that experience was very humbling. Like you know how you think the world is a certain way when you get out there? Kind of like not a rude awakening, but it was an awakening that I don't know if I was ready for. But I think I needed it for my growth. In a sense, like it really shaped me a little differently. It taught me punctuality. It taught just team, like the importance of just I guess functioning with others. Like I think my skin, like I didn't have thick skin at the time either. I was a very sensitive person. And I think that came from just me going through, the death of my brother at an early age. I was 13. So, moving forward, I was very homesick, but it really made me strong as far as, I guess, it really thickened my skin. I say, it just made me, I don't know the words I want to say for that. And I've never really thought of this that much, but it changed me a lot, woman wise. Like I'm saying, like I was a very sensitive person, but it made me stronger. It kind of helped me endure some things. Like when you don't have that family right there, when you don't have, the phone call you can make right away, it makes you deal with things in a different way. I learned that there, not like survival, but I learned how to be okay in situations. So that was different for me, like really different. But I think I needed that for a more adult life,
Right.
so that I could function, and
Mhm.
be okay,
Right. Yes, ma'am. I definitely understand where you're coming from. I never served in the military. I have friends who have, and one thing that's in common is I've always heard just by the military, like you said, you learn punctuality, you learn structure, discipline, accountability,
Structure. That's
and
the word I was looking for. Yes.
yes, ma'am.
All of that.
Yes, ma'am. No, no worries. And you said something key though. You said even though it was a shock to the system, you said something key though. Those were the things that you needed. You needed to learn those different tools or different principles. And I'm pretty sure you apply some of those principles to this day.
Yes, absolutely. Like you saying that structure, like I can't do nothing in chaos. Like it has to be a certain way. And I do think I got that from that, like punctuality, like where people like to show up, late and, be the person that walk in. So I like to be on time. So I had to unlearn that a little to show up, like not be the person right on time for an event, for a party, because that was me. I used to be somewhere like sitting in the parking lot waiting. I'm just like, dang, like 15 minutes early, because if I'm not, I'm not gonna be on time. So it was just that part, working out, like that stuff was in me. Waking
Right.
up like at a certain time, like that clock, like even if I didn't have an alarm, I was waking up. All of that stuff, like it makes you different. It really does. So people that's in the military, there's some different kind of people, because it takes
Right.
that, it takes you being open to kind of conforming to their normal. That's
Right.
another reason that led me out of it too. I didn't want to be in a box. So
No, I definitely understand that, and just that's very key. Like, while the military does offer you an opportunity to learn those different principles, the structure, the discipline, I also understand that part about being put in the box. Because if you do 20 years, you're gonna have to pretty much color in between the lines and conform to
mhm.
their standards. And so, while you were in the military, what were some of your most memorable duty stations you got a chance to be stationed at?
So I was on the station at one duty station, like a deployment that I saw like I was able to go overseas from that duty station, and that was Mayport. I was in Jacksonville, Florida. That was my first duty station. My second one was at NAS Jax, but the first one was the one that I got most of my experience from because I went on a deployment with that one. And I mean, I got to visit places that not to say that I never would have, but I don't have a passport right now. So the places that I've been was through the military. And that's one thing that I really love. Like I had been to Dubai before Dubai was even like this, oh, I want to go to Dubai. Like I did that before, it became the Dubai that it is. I mean,
Mm.
it was beautiful then, but you know, it's unchanged. So that was 2010. So you gotta think like so far back. That those places I've been to Spain, you know, I've been to Portugal. I don't think that I would have went on to those places.
Mhm.
So me being able to experience those places was like the best. That was the most absolute favorite part for me was being able to see those places, you know, in exchange for, you know, me my work and, you know, all that stuff. Like that was the exchange, you know, you gonna do this
Right.
and we're gonna take you here.
Right, right.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
mhm.
absolutely. It was just one of those trade-offs, like you in the
Yeah.
military under that structure, under that umbrella, but you got a chance to travel and go
Mhm. The
overseas and
traveling is the best part. Yes.
absolutely.
It's the best. Mhm.
And you got a chance to visit Dubai before everybody hopped on the bandwagon. Cause I mean, I get what you're saying. Everybody holler about
Yeah.
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, everybody trying to get over there. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. No
So when I
doubt.
came back, everybody's like, "Where did you go?" And I'm like, first place I was like to Portugal, you know, I went Spain, and
Yeah.
I said Dubai. And they're like Dubai, and I'm like, yeah, what's the big deal about Dubai? But I didn't even know it was being talked about like that in the States when I came back. So you know, it was starting to jump then in that year, like or that following year, it just started people wanting to travel to Dubai. I'm glad I
Right.
already
Right. Okay.
so
So it's safe to assume that you pretty much kicked off. So pretty much you was one of the first ones to. Nah, I'm just playing. I ain't gonna say that.
yeah, I
Uh,
think before it started, like it was like you know it's man made and stuff. You know, it had been
right.
around for some time, but I think before it actually really like got super popular and was being talked about, we
Right.
definitely like the people that I toured with. We were like some of the first ones that actually went over there and like got to experience Dubai. Like, and that's a whole different way of life over there. Like, we
Okay.
had to wear a certain thing. We couldn't be dressed a certain way. Like, it was really strict. Like, it's strict over there.
Hmm. Yes,
Like, you can't
ma'am.
even see the women. Like, you can only see their eyes. Like, that's how strict that is.
Hmm. Wow. 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 So that's some good stuff. So in all your travels,
Mhm.
Brittany, did you ever try any exotic food outside of the norm, outside of the chicken, pork, beef, lamb? Like, did you try anything exotic while you was overseas?
I didn't. When I went to Greece, and then Greece was another place I went. I wanted to try the gyro because I feel like the ones here, I wanted to try the lamb because I was like, is it really? I wanted to see what was the difference. Like, if it was different, was it the same? That lamb over there, it ain't. It's like I don't know. It's the real thing. It tastes different. It's flavorful. Like it's. I can't even describe it to you, but that food over there is
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
It's so good.
Okay.
That I didn't never try anything like really exotic, but I definitely their euros over there in Spain just was it was just regular. It was like modern food. I mean, it was the same. I never tried it, you know, any of the Spanish, like none of the food. And yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't like that. But Greece, yeah, I tried the euros.
Okay. Sounds good. So it sounds like you just kept it in the road food wise. You went over there
I
eating
did.
like raccoon and horse and all that
No,
there. You just
I can't.
okay.
I can't. Mm-mm.
I got you.
Oh, I'm too scared.
I got you.
Oh no.
All good, all good. Well, I appreciate you for sharing college journey and your military journey, and that,
Mhm.
and now we can transition into what you got going on present day. The founder, owner, operator of Surreal Glow Skin and Beauty. What inspired that name?
Yes, my daughter. So my daughter's name is Surreal, and so I didn't know what she would do in life. You know, my daughter's very artsy now. When I started my business, she was younger, of course, and I didn't realize how artsy she was back then. But I'm glad that I did. I named my business. I don't know. She might want to follow me. She's watching me. Everything that I do with work. I just wanted to leave that meant something to me. To me, this was like me taking a leap of faith and just kind of betting on myself into my business. So I really wanted everything to be. And so I named it Surreal Glow. Of the reason we named her Surreal. And she has the same spelling as the business, but it's pronounced different. And it was just a surreal moment. And I just feel like my work is surreal because it's kind of amazing, like and real how I just thought it was cute and it just fit me. It was different. That's why I named it Surreal Glow.
Hmm.
It'll always be there. I don't think I would ever change it. It's very special. But that's the reason why I named my business.
Okay, and that's powerful. And I love to hear stories behind names of businesses and how it came
Hmm.
about. And you name your business after your daughter, and just sounds like you got legacy on your mind. You want to leave something behind for her, and
Yeah,
so
of
she can
course,
carry
of
on.
course.
Okay, that's all
Right.
right. Hey, that's powerful. I love that kind of talk, that legacy talk. That's all right right there.
Yes, legacy.
Yes, ma'am. So you being a licensed esthetician, I think I said that right. If I butchered it, I
Yeah, that's
apologize.
right.
Okay,
Most people
esthetician.
mess that word up.
Hey, I was on Google doing the pronunciation thing about 10 minutes before we got on the call. Like, I hope I don't mess this up. Esthetician. Okay, so
Yep,
you,
esthetician. You got it.
yes, ma'am. So what inspired you to want to come into this space of skincare?
Well, I've always been into skincare. My mom actually, when I was younger, she used to always tell me, wash your skin, make sure she used to tell me to put Vaseline on my skin would be, nice and hydrated and things of that nature. And my mom did Mary Kay. So she always would just, make sure that my skin was looking nice. And she used to be into makeup and watching her it made me be into. So I've always took care of my and all that stuff. I was so I got to take you back one more step because before I was an esthetician, I was in ultrasound after the military. So when I came out, I did ultrasound for about 4 years, and I came out of that, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was like, okay, I know I love skincare, and I know I love makeup, but I didn't wear a lot of makeup. So I started working part time at what is it, Massage Envy, and I was a front desk clerk, and the estheticians back there they used to come and compliment me on my skin and stuff. And they're like, you should be doing what we're doing. You shouldn't be at the front desk. Like, what do you do for your skin? Like, what do you use? And I shared with them, the things. And that is how I came into being an esthetician because I didn't even know career like this existed, honestly. all I knew was massages. I didn't know anything about facials. I didn't know that it was something that you can do as a job or career, and they taught me that. So I enrolled into school, and that's how I began. So I wanted it to be something that I pretty much not so new to because I was always trying different products and things of that nature, and I try a little Mary Kay stuff. I loved Ulta, so I used to always be in there getting moves here and there. Yeah, that's what led me into it. I started school and I was natural. Like it just came to me. Like it's like I had been doing it already. It was crazy.
Hmm. No, that's amazing. Just a powerful story. Just hearing how you went from ultrasound to working at
Mhm.
Massage Envy, and even shouting out mom, and mom was selling Mary Kay. So that tell me one thing, mama hustler, go get her. Hey, the Mary Kay distributors.
Listen, mom wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Yes, mom used to go to them parties, the Mary Kay parties. She used to be on it, but I will be watching her though. And so
Right.
same thing. My daughter's watching me, so it's like, that stuff made that important to me, like taking care of my skin, all that stuff. So I'm like, man, if I can help somebody do this a job. This all I gotta like. This don't even feel like work. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that really was very interesting to me. So I delved into it real deep. So I wanted to learn everything I could.
Right.
So my interest was there. Like it was there.
Right. Yes, ma'am. And that's powerful stuff. And just hearing you talk about just your colleagues at Massage Envy and encouraging
Mhm.
you to go for it and you enrolling in school. It sounds like that's when you really discovered your gift that you're doing now, present day.
Yes, it's like I feel like those steps that I took, the journey that it took me working there, it helped me discover like actually who I really was. And you know how we always trying to figure out what, our purpose is, what we really supposed to be.
Right.
And I don't know, like through this it's just like I know that I can touch people through this, minister to people through this. I can, heal people with this. And it's deeper than just skincare, you know. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of you, but like it was different for me. Like it wasn't just something to do. I was deeply passionate about it. After I started learning more, the more I learned, the more my heart was in it. Like I can help somebody feel skin or they look. That means a lot to help them. It's like being of service, just service, just being, just I don't know. And that goes back to the music, like just the service. Like just
Right.
serving, like serving. And that's what I think that's what my purpose and gift is in that way.
Right. Absolutely. And to that point you were just making about just the journey and That's the one thing about the journey that I appreciate the most. Like we all go on our own different journeys and we go through
Mhm.
things and nothing makes sense when we're going through it. But once we get to a point
Right.
where like things start to work for us and it click, you be like, wow, I understand why I had to go to the military for 6 years. And even though I didn't like I didn't I and even though I decided to not do the entire 20, just the things you learn in your time in the military and things you learn that 1 year in college, the things you learn working in ultrasound and massage envy, it just amazing how all those lessons come together and it all makes sense.
Yes. It all made sense when I got to this point. Like I was like, okay, I had to do this. Like all that stuff was connected. I had to go through each one to get to this point, and I feel like it took me a long time because I was dang near 30. Like I'm like, you know how you in college and you think you want to major in something, you change your mind and you change your mind, and you change your mind. It was almost like finding. It's like you're in discovery, mode. It's like I'm trying to see what I like, what I don't. Do I want to work here? Do this? How does this make my energy feel? Do I want to conform here? All of that stuff made sense once I got there.
Right.
So when I got to that point, it just, it felt right too. Like it just, I don't know, I can't explain that. It just felt like I don't know. My mentor, which is my teacher that was in school, she told me she was like, she was trying to teach me the facial movements and stuff like that. You don't even need my help. And I was like, yes, I do. Like, I need you to show me. She's like, you already doing it. And she was like, have you did this before? I told her, no, I ain't never touched anybody with face, like this before, or just, but I have been watching you. So, but yeah, like, it just felt right.
Yes, ma'am,
I don't
absolutely, and
know.
that's just powerful. No, that's great. No, that's powerful stuff, and just hearing you talk about just like I said, just the journey. Like I love the journey. Like I love to hear people's journey and like your journey. It has its peaks, its valleys, just like anybody else's journey.
Mhm.
But the most important thing is, and you were saying that it took a long time. The most important thing is, Brittany, you discovered what you love to do before it was
Mhm.
before you were in your 70s and 80s and you were looking back with regret, like it's great that you got a chance to discover that gift, discover that thing that you love. And that's what it's all about,
Mhm.
just discovering that purpose. So thank you for sharing that.
It was great too. It was great. And mind you, I was in Memphis now, so I didn't tell you these locations, but so when I was in aesthetic school or esthetician school, should I say, I was in Memphis, Tennessee. Me and my daughter, we were there. I did ultrasound there, and of course, enrolled into school after that while I was there. And this was right before the pandemic, right before the pandemic. And so I wasn't here. I was there. And so my mentor, which was my teacher, she, what are you going to do when you graduate? I'm not sure if I'm, or what I'm going to do. And she said, where are you from? Is it, are there people there like you that are doing it? You know what like you means,
Right, right, right.
like you, like us.
Yeah, right,
And
right,
she asked me, and I told her, I don't know. She said, you need to find out because if it's not saturated, that's where you should go. Okay. So I asked around, and during that time, it really wasn't. So I was like, okay, I really don't want to go home. I really don't want to move back home. I've been gone all this time. I really don't want to go back home.
right,
You know how that pride is. Like, I don't want to
right,
go back. I don't want nobody to think I failed. I don't want anybody to feel like, I don't know. I was worried about what people would think.
right,
And because I had been gone for so long, I was 32, 33, and I left when I was 18. So that's a long time. So
right.
I was scared to come back home. I was scared to come, but I kept hearing the voice to come home, and I followed it, and I moved. I didn't know if I was going to work in Troy or Montgomery. So my heart told me Montgomery. So there I started 2020.
Huh? Yes, ma'am, and that's a powerful story. You was up there in Memphis and making it do what it do. I've been to Memphis a few times, and hey,
What you think about Memphis?
Memphis, hey, I love Memphis. I feel like I'm right. I feel like I'm in the Gump when I'm in Memphis. Like it's a lot of
Yeah, Memphis ain't
parallels.
no different.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's not. It's some
Right,
bad. Okay, so I feel like this. Memphis is not. How can I say? People do say a lot of bad things about Memphis, but it's a
right.
lot of bad talk. Everywhere. I think
It
everywhere has
is.
its bad parts of the city.
Right.
But Memphis ain't bad. I actually enjoyed it when I was there. I met some great people out there.
Right.
I met a lot of great people. Memphis wasn't bad. My daughter actually loved it too.
Right.
So
Yep.
it wasn't bad.
Yeah, like
Right.
I love Memphis. They have a very distinct accent, and I fool with it. Hey,
Mhm.
I don't be judging them. Like they and they
Come on, man. Come on,
yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah. Right, right. And I
They love
mean
that Maine now. They
that man
love Maine. Yes.
no
Yeah,
doubt.
Memphis is a lot of culture. It's a lot of us. It's the culture there. It's always something happening.
Right.
Food is
Absolutely.
good there. Memphis all right.
Absolutely. It is. I
Yeah.
agree. And like Bill Street is great as well. It's like to me, it's like a cleaner version of Bourbon Street and NOLA. It's like but
Yeah.
like yeah, I love Bill Street, love Memphis. So listen to that
Yeah, it's
voice.
a vibe. It's a vibe. Mhm.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt, absolutely. So listen to that voice, and voice of God led you back to Montgomery, well,
Mhm.
Alabama,
Detroit.
and now,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am, Troy, Montgomery, and now you're operating
Yeah.
in business. That's one of
Mhm.
the things I definitely want to transition into just the next portion of the interview. So whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, I like to talk about three things: the aha moment, action, and audacity. Take us back to your aha moment when you first had the idea to take your love for skincare and turn it into a business that would go on to become Surreal Glow Skin and Beauty.
The moment, I guess, while the so okay, so when I moved back home, it was right before the pandemic. Like I knew I was gonna do the skincare. I was still thinking of a name. I didn't have a location yet. I was at home pondering this stuff, and everything shut down. So I didn't have no. All I had was my paper and my thoughts about what I wanted to do with my business. Like when you say aha moment, like what you mean? What I wanted to do with my business, like explain to me you say that.
Yes, ma'am. No worries. So the aha moment is just that moment in time where you may have been in school or you may have been working a job. Like just the moment when you realize, like, you know what? I want to take my love for skincare and turn it into a business. Like, take us back to that exact moment.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So this was okay. So I would have to go back. Okay, I was at home. I was in the yeah. I was hearing the voice. The voice. It was the voice that I kept hearing on God, and it almost was so loud. I couldn't really rest. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna work in somebody else's face because I was thinking about. And someone told me that I shouldn't share that I was laid off. So I was with that ultrasound, and me and another girl that started. They wanted to keep the people on the team, and so for financial reasons, they let us go. So that moment, I was hearing the voice to come home. I was remembering how I didn't want to work for something. Like I don't want anybody to be able to control, my finances to a point where they can cut me off or cut me out. I want to be my own person, or that I want to make the. I don't want to be put in. I want to, set my schedule. That stuff was. I was in my apartment packing up. Like I just knew I had to. I didn't want to work for somebody to get that experience. I wanted to be my own. Like I wanted to start from scratch. I wanted to know how it felt to, not get it out the mud, how they say, but you start fresh.
Yeah.
Like you work for them clients. Like um, you build something. I
Right.
wanted to build something, and I knew that I knew I had to, post content to show people, hey, this was coming up. So I started like, and I did this in school too, but I started doing it more. Like, hey, this was kind of coming, and that was the moment for me. I knew this was gonna be my business. This was gonna be my baby. Like this was gonna be the thing that I did that nobody else, my family did. Was have their own business. It'd be this. So that was the moment for me. Like I just knew I couldn't settle for just working for somebody. I
Yes,
couldn't do
ma'am.
it.
And that's a powerful aha moment, like going through that layoff, that situation, and just realizing that, like you said, you want to work for yourself and you wanted to go in business for yourself. And it goes back to what you said early on in the interview, just about being rebellious. Like it's crazy how
Mhm.
being rebellious can be looked at from two different perspectives. It can be looked at
It can.
bad, like yeah,
Mhm.
like oh you're a bad person, but also being rebellious that it also leads you to finding that pathway to freedom, working for yourself, owning,
Mhm.
being your own boss. So that's great that you realize in that moment that hey, I don't want to go through this anymore because
Mm.
let's face it, when you are when you are working a 9 to 5, I still work a 9 to 5, so I can speak to it. Like when you're hitting the clock for somebody else, you're at their mercy, and if they decide to lay you off, they can and they will. So,
Right.
yes, ma'am. So in that moment, you wanted to launch your business, and you're ready to go all in. So you moved back home from Memphis, and talk about that action portion. So from the time you get back home, how long did it take you to take action on the business, coming up with a name and all that good stuff?
So I'll go back. So like I was saying before this was during the pandemic. So I moved home that February.
Right.
So I took my exam. Like as soon as I finished school, I took my and I got my license. Like I'm dual licensed. So I'm licensed in Tennessee. I'm licensed in Montgomery. So when I moved home, that was February, the end of February, 2020. And as soon as I got home, I feel like they shut everything down. It was like March. I feel like it just shut down. COVID was everywhere. And all I had was time, just time to think of everything. So what I did, I got my license. I contacted the board, Alabama State Board. Hey, I need reciprocity. What's the process? How do I do that? I did all that stuff. I did my LLC online. And I knew the name. Like I kept fumbling with the name, but I was like, okay, Surreal Glow Skin and Beauty. Even though it's long, it means something. So I formed the name, and I just went through the process. And I found a location, and basically we were just waiting. I was purchasing equipment while I was waiting, while everything was shut down. I was buying stuff online. I'm buying stuff. I'm getting it shipped. And stuff was shut down, but them carriers weren't shut down. Mail and stuff was still coming.
Right.
So I was purchasing all the stuff that I needed for work, and I had it in my storage at home. I had everything I needed. I was just waiting for things to open up, and while I was waiting, I was posting. I'm posting content, about work, coming soon. Like, hey, expect this, expect me. I was taking photos. I did a photo shoot. Like, I was doing all kinds of stuff that I could do under the radar while it was shut down. And from from the end of February, I started working in May, I think, the end of May. So about 3 months, I was ready.
Hey, that sounds good to
Three
me.
months.
Shoot, 3 months fly
Yeah,
by
three
like three
months.
days. So you got
Yeah,
right
yeah.
got right to it. Came back
Three,
home in February and May. You was, launching the business. That's amazing.
in 3 months. And I will say this too. When I was home, or before, while it was shut down, um, I had a portable bed and all that stuff. I was doing house calls. I was going to people's house, like, wow, before I got into a setting, like a space where I could do work,
Right.
do my business and everything. I was going, like, I did a couple of house calls during that time. I was taking all my equipment, all that stuff, lugging all that stuff around to people's homes, doing facials and stuff like that. Yeah. So I wasn't playing.
Ah, you
I'm
weren't
like,
playing at
nah,
all. Got right
I'm trying to
to it.
get things started. I'm trying to, get some clientele. They can see what I'm doing now. When I get into the space, then they're gonna want to come. That
Right.
was where my mind was at.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
yeah,
No,
I was
that's
doing
great.
that.
Great, you had that initiative. You got right to it. You ain't really sit around overthinking, overanalyzing. You knew what you
Nah.
wanted to do.
Oh
You got
no.
after it. Right.
Yeah, I was clear. I was very clear on what to do, and the support of my family was made it even better. Like
Yes,
they were
ma'am.
ready. Make sure you wear a mask. Make sure
Right.
you wear a mask.
Right. Absolutely.
But
And
yeah.
salute to you for not letting the pandemic hold you down. Like you made the most of a
Oh no.
very tumultuous time because, like when the world shut down on March 13th, 2020, I had no idea. We had no
Mhm.
idea what we were walking into. It was just a lot of uncertainty, but you made it happen. You made it happen no matter what. That's dope.
Yeah. I'm glad you know the date because I came home like the 27th.
Wow.
So yeah. So I had maybe a few weeks before it shut down.
Right.
I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that very vivid.
Right.
Shut down. I'm talking like almost immediately after I got home.
Yeah, it's shut down.
Yeah.
Yep, Friday,
Mhm.
March 13th, 2020. Because when the world shut down, yeah, I just remember that being Friday the 13th. But back to you. So you come home, and a couple weeks after you come home, the world shut down, but you didn't let that shut you down. You kept rocking and rolling.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am. That last portion, audacity. It's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to put action behind the idea. But to put it out to the world to be praised or criticized, that's where the audacity comes in my opinion. And it just sounds like you gave yourself the audacity to step out there and bet on yourself and get started with business.
I did because I'm a jumper, and my friends tell me this, and that's why I'm saying this. Like I never view myself like this. But when they tell me about myself, it almost makes me emotional because not that I don't see myself in that way, it's just how I am. So I can't see myself how they see me, if that makes sense. Because when they watch me, they seeing something else. I can't. I'm not them, if that makes sense. So I can't see me operate how they see me operate.
Right.
And I swear they all have told me like I'm just a person that will leap. Like I don't know, I may not know the outcome. I don't know, but all I know is that if I don't do something that I'm set on, heart is set on, I always wonder what if how it could have been, and I don't never want that. I always just jump just to see, and if it don't work out, I pivot. So that's just who I am. And I'm like that in my business. I'm like that with relationships. I'm like that with just anything in general. I'm gonna always take that leap. I'm not scared to take risks. I'm not scared, and I love that about myself. So knowing that and knowing that people see that makes me happy. To know that I am a person that just follow my heart. I love that about me.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
That's an amazing trait to have, and hats off to your friends for giving you your flowers and telling you that that's something that they admire about you. And yes, that's a very dope quality to
Mhm.
have, Brittany, because a lot of us, myself included, I've been guilty of it in the past where you have ideas and you want to do stuff, but instead of just
Yeah.
giving it an honest effort and seeing what comes of it, a lot of times people, myself included, I've been guilty of it. You sit around, you're planning, you're thinking about it, you're praying, and that's something else that I'm really mindful of, especially these days.
Mhm.
Okay, it's okay to pray and manifest, but you got to do the work. You got to work. You can't sit around
Yes, the
praying
action
all day.
behind it is what makes it happen. Yeah.
Right,
And that's
right,
what makes it happen. Like the faith that you know that you can do it and all that stuff, that's what makes it happen. That activates,
right,
things. Like that makes things happen. And anytime you have, I don't sit on it, especially when you can't. Like if I go a day and I can't not think of something, I'm gonna do it. If it's constantly on the forefront of my mind, I gotta try.
right,
And that's just how I am. Like, and that's how that is. That's manifestation. Like you have to see it through, and the only way you will know is if you do try it.
right,
And fear is not real. We be afraid to try things to see what happens. But
right,
sometimes it is kind of scary. But we can't let that fear, drive us away either. It has to push you forward to do it.
right.
It has
Absolutely.
to push you, let it push
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting you say that because as I've gotten older and just learned more just about life itself, like you said, when something is on the top of your mind and you just can't shake it, it's just everywhere you
Mhm.
go. It's a sign from God. And a lot of times
It's a
we like to
sign.
dodge,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's a sign, like because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna get an idea or get some type of idea that's not within the realm of your capability. Like I've never thought about
Mhm.
doing. I've never thought about being an esthetician. That's not my skill set. I've never thought about being an astronaut. That's not my skill set. But the things I have
Right.
thought about, I thought about them for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. And it's like that's seeds that God give you. Like it's planted in your heart and your mind for a reason. Like you ain't
Right.
just thinking about it just to think. It ain't just something that you think. This something God putting on your heart. This something God putting on
Right.
that's like if you don't do that, you ain't. It's almost like you're not following what He's showing. Show you. So you have to follow. You have to follow it through, and it's gonna work because it's on you. It's already on you. It's in you, in your mind already. So it just takes you doing the actual work, like you said, the
Right.
work behind it. So yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That's what it's
yeah.
all about. So you've done great things with Surreal Beauty. Beauty, no, Surreal Glow Skin and Beauty. Let me get it right. I almost butchered that. Surreal Glow Skin and Beauty. You've done great things with the business, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What
hmm
are some of your short term and long term goals for the business you feel comfortable sharing?
Well, I actually I think that I've been coming into my niche. in the business, and it's brows. Like I have this, I ain't gonna say obsession, but I really love brows right now. I always have. It's something that I always look at on people, and I think that I found my niche in my business because aesthetics is it's such a wide range of things. It's so much you can do. I think that brows for me, it's like artistry. You know what I'm saying? So it's like drawing or it's like creating, and I like that more than I actually like facial. So um I plan on starting to do classes, and I think that I would like to do one-on-one classes to kind of show it my technique or method in doing brows because it is something that it has gained a lot of attention now. And I know there's a lot of people that would like the guidance, and I don't mind, sharing my gifts with people because I know that my gift is mine and everybody else has something different too. So I don't mind sharing and showing. So I want to get into one-on-one classes once I could carve out the time to do it, because right now I'm very busy. I extremely busy. I'm trying to carve out time for a vacation. But I really want to start teaching. Next year will be my 5th year. It'll be my 5th year in aesthetics, and I'll be in my apprenticeship year. So that means that I will be able to teach um, someone actual. I will actually be able to teach someone aesthetics. Like they wouldn't have to go to a school to learn. They would be able to get that from me, and they would be able to go and take state board competition. So I'm really looking forward to teaching because I actually love that too. Just seeing a person develop, after I've shown them something. And I've done classes before, but not as consistent as I would like to. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do next. That's my goal right now, to create time, space to do that in my schedule. Because I am a mom too, and my daughter is getting active with sports and art, and I just want to carve out that time to teach, share my gifts with other people.
Okay, sounds good. That's powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Great goals, short term and long term, and I have no doubt you'll make them all come to fruition.
I'm excited for that. It's just, creating that space and time to do it.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Powerful stuff. So as we wrap up the podcast, Brittany, I want to ask the $1 million question. I started this podcast to highlight the greatness connected to the city of Montgomery. Whether you lived here or you from here or lived here by way of college, military, or work, being in Montgomery, operating in business, running your business, I want to ask you, Brittany, what do you appreciate the most about the city of Montgomery?
I appreciate the people and the support, here in Montgomery. Like, I don't know. I feel like the people here, they get something and they want to share it with them. They want to share it. I love that the people here don't gatekeep, like they share, they want others to experience, me and my business, and I love that the way that we do support people here. I know a lot of people say or feel like the support isn't, here, but it is. There's so much love here. Like the people here, I've met some amazing people here in Montgomery. Like, my clients, like they're just more than I can imagine. So I think that the way that people receive each other and support each other, that means a lot to me. That is a lot to me. It put that into words, but that I appreciate that so much. There's love here, there's support here, and we support each other. Like, and some people might not agree, but I think that from what I've seen, my perspective, I've seen the love support, and I appreciate it so much. I love everybody that has supported me, whether it's been a share or comment or like or service. Like, you just came to me, even if you've never been back. Like, I appreciate it. So, but yeah, the people here, they're great. They
Right.
are.
Yeah, powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. So how can the people connect with you, Brittany? What are your social media handles and website?
Okay, so my Instagram is at Surreal Glow, SurrealGlow. That's Instagram, and on Facebook is a Surreal Glow Skin, the symbol and beauty, and TikTok at Surreal Glow. So you guys can connect with me there. The booking link is there also, and be patient because I don't have a lot of availability, y'all. I'm a super I ain't gonna toot my horn too much, but I am like a super popular person here, so I don't have availability like same day or same week. But if you have the patience, it'll be worth it to book with me. And I look forward to meeting people that I have not met, seeing my class again that do come. So yeah, you gotta check me out and send me a message or the number is on there too as well. My phone number is there if you need to. Please text me. I don't talk on the phone during service hours because I do like to give my undivided attention to everyone. So just text me, shoot me a text. If you don't see something available, you can join the wait list. So that's
Ma'am.
it, y'all.
Okay. And of course, I'll put all of the information in the description of the episode. Hey, Brittany, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yes, ma'am. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumtown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Go on.